children. How are you all? Hope you all are fine. Once again, we are here with our lessons. And so today we are going to take Buddhism from your history book, chapter 3. Buddhism was a balance between the ways of Jainism and Hinduism. It provided people with more flexibility, hence became popular in various parts of the world. Children, you can see the picture of Lord Buddha on your screen. So let's discuss about the early life of Buddha. Buddha, or the Enlightened One, was born as Siddhartha in the village of Lumbini near Kapilvastu in 563 BCE. He was a Kshatriya prince of the Shakya clan and was born in Gautama family. His father, Suddhodana, was the king of the tribe and ruled Kapilvastu. His mother died 7 days after giving birth to him. He was married at a young age to Princess Yashodhara. They had a son called Rahul. Now, let's talk about the Great Renunciation. The realization that he, like anyone else, could suffer with disease, old age and death drove Siddhartha into personal crisis. At the age of 29, he left behind his wife and son to begin a life wandering as a holy man in search of the ultimate truth, and this event is known as the Great Renunciation. Now, let's see what changed the life of Lord Buddha, and these were the 4 great sights. So, talking about the first one, Siddhartha saw an old man who passed in front of him and was suffering because of the infirmities brought by the advanced age. Secondly, he saw a sick man alongside the road who was experiencing pain and agony due to disease. Next, he saw a dead man, and the prince had never seen a dead body before. Next, an ascetic who had devoted his life to find the cause of human suffering and in search of salvation. So these sights made him sad, and the 4th one inspired him and changed his life entirely. Now let's talk about the enlightenment of Lord Buddha. Siddhartha left his home to discover the truth of birth and death and find the ultimate peace of mind. Finally, after meditating under a peepal tree at Bodh Gaya for a long time, he attained enlightenment at the age of 35. He came to be known as Buddha, or the Enlightened One. Today, there is a temple called the Mahabodhi Temple, and the peepal tree under which he sat is known as the Bodhi tree. Children, you can see on the screen the picture of Bodhi tree. Now, we'll talk about the doctrine of Buddhism. So the 4 noble truths were the foundation of Buddha's doctrine. And the first one is, the world is full of suffering. Second, suffering is caused by human desires. Third, the renunciation of desires is the path of salvation. And the 4th one, salvation can only be achieved by following the eightfold path. Now, when we talk about the eightfold path, we see the first one, right understanding. Second, right thought. Next, right speech, right conduct, right means of making a living, right mental attitude or effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. This eightfold path is also known as the middle path because Buddha believed in adopting a middle path, avoiding 2 extremes. Okay, now we'll talk about the split in Buddhism. Now, the very first one is the Hinayan, and the second one is said to be the Mahayana. Now, talking about impact of Buddhism. So, Buddhism has a great impact on Indian culture, philosophy, religion, education, literature, art and architecture. So, talking about the very first one, social religious. Buddhism was a simple religion devoid of complicated rituals, sacrifices, and ceremonies, and so people very willingly accepted this religion. Talking about the language and literature, the Jatakas contain tales about the previous birth of the Buddha. We come to know about the social political condition of India from these Jatakas, and they were written in Pali and Sanskrit. Coming to art and architecture, they constructed stupas, chaityas, viharas, and the rock cut temples. Now, Sachi Stupa is in Madhya Pradesh, children. Most of you might have seen also. The viharas were the dwellings places for the monks. The caves, temples were decorated with beautiful paintings on the wall called frescoes. Talking about education, great centers of learning in Nalanda, Takshila, and Vikramshila developed into universities where the students from many countries came to study. Subjects such as logic, astronomy, philosophy, medicine, and Buddhist scriptures were taught there. Now let's talk about the decline of Buddhism. So, there were major causes for the decline of Buddhism. So, very first cause was the loss of royal patronage. Now, it was not now supported by many of the kings. We talk about the internal weakness of Buddhism. It was created due to the split in the religion. Next, reformation in Hinduism. The Fourth General Council was an important step in the division of Buddhism. Mahayanism emerged dominant, which introduced the cult of Bodhisattvas. Talking about the corruption, offerings in gold, silver, jewels enhanced the wealth of the sanghas and the temples. Many unworthy men entered the monkhood and the monasteries, and these places became places of ease and luxuries. Now, when we talk about the language, the monks and nuns started to lead a worldly life. The Mahayanists used Sanskrit as their vehicle of expression. When we talk about foreign invasions by Hunas and others uprooted Buddhism in India entirely. So children, here we end up with the chapter 3, Jainism and Buddhism. Thank you.